Ah, Minecraft. I don't need to explain what that is to you. In recent years, you may have noticed a trend crop up on YouTube. People showcasing various Minecraft unfiction web series, or Minecraft ARGs as they tend to call them. They use Minecraft as a storytelling medium, as a way to invent interesting puzzles, or use them in ways people haven't really attempted before. Maybe you remember ones such as Old Root, Alpha Version, or Mark 101, which all individually fit some or all of the criteria mentioned earlier, and you've likely learned about them from an essay video or two. Or maybe you've seen some more recent ones, which will be the topic of today's video, the Ouroboros the Minecraft ARG essay videos have become on YouTube. For the record, don't harass anyone mentioned here, I'm just pointing out a thing I've noticed that no one else has really been talking about much, so yeah. Anyway, Part 1. A quick history. So, what defines a Minecraft unfiction web series, or a Minecraft ARG? In essence, imagine a Minecraft creepypasta utilizing more than just a text medium to convey a story and make it believable. For instance, using videos, community interaction, sometimes even playable mods. ARGs are supposed to be interactive, but a lot of people seem to use the term ARG nowadays as an umbrella term, even if a project isn't exactly interactive, hence me using the term for simplicity from now on. Minecraft ARGs and Minecraft horror in general used to be a niche, though things like Herobrine and Long Came Josh's videos covering Minecraft creepypastas were definitely the catalyst for wider popularity and exploration of using Minecraft as a medium for spooky scaries. The thing about Minecraft creepypastas is that most of them were, rather terrible, to be blunt. So, seeing original concepts stemming from this medium nowadays without riffing on too many pre-existing tropes is quite nifty. Supposedly real secret versions hidden away from the 2010s, a Minecraft website that shows you a bunch of cameras in people's worlds, Homestuck 2. Some notable early examples of ARGs include Snapshot Null, old Minecraft re-uploads, slots available, snippets, and Old Root, some of which you've most likely heard of before due to various essay videos covering them. They were the foundation that caused Part 2. The Domino Effect. Speaking of the Old Root coverage, prior to it, most ARGs weren't really touched upon by YouTubers and were rather obscure, being made by very small teams of people or even one single person who wanted to put their work out there. And often they didn't see much payback by the algorithm nor by any big creators covering their work. Eventually, in 2021, a YouTuber called Retro Gaming Now covered Old Root, and with it came the explosion in popularity of this sort of genre. Old Root has existed since 2015, and was and still is unsolved to this day, which definitely gave it some intrigue. Some secret codes from it were only found a year after Retro's video, fun fact. They were hidden away using an obscure feature for PNG files that allowed them to have layers. What a puzzle! Anyway, that leads us to 2022, where Retro covered an ARG you've likely also seen, entitled Minecraft Alpha 1.0.16 versions, which I'll be referring to as Alpha version from now on. Alpha version started in August of 2021 and has a simple premise. What if Minecraft was forked by a different team back in the day and they started adding their own features? It pushes this idea to its limits, also using common tropes from Minecraft horror such as pure black players stalking you and actually turning them on their head. The pure black players are merely just developers and people associated with this new Minecraft version that are trolling, but also secretly enlisting users into playtesting their version. There's multiple characters and multiple developers whose perspectives you see in each video, all with their own nuances and relationships. Alongside that, it actually has versions you can play. You can just straight up play some of the versions shown in the videos. Isn't that cool? To my knowledge, the idea for Alpha version came from a now deleted ARG started in 2020 called Snapshot Null, which also took the idea of secret Minecraft versions and ran with it. Though it was later deleted because the creator didn't find it very good, but has been partially archived since. To reiterate my point from earlier, prior to Retro Gaming Now covering Alpha version, the ARG barely had any eyes on it and nobody was really interacting with it. The earliest instance I know of anyone interacting with it prior is Ebola Granola, one of the faces behind the series Chainmail Chasers, commenting about the peculiar lack of stairs in the character's base early on. They eventually build a staircase in the video version 06, and Ebola has gone on to comment about the stair quality on each video. It's a funny gag. Still, a couple of people had participated in the ARG prior to Retro's video, and that's where the game part from the name Alternate Reality Game comes from. People had something to actually invest their time in and piece together, sitting on a server while mysterious players spoke to them and messed with them, for instance. Ooh. Retro had approached these people to gain information that might have been missing from his own research, setting up a Google Slides presentation to better string everything together, and actively participating in the community at the time. Hell, he even made a whole custom track based on it for his video. After he released the video, interest in the ARG skyrocketed, with its subscriber count inflating overnight. He would continue to cover other ARGs and mysteries in a similar format, with other YouTubers also picking up the slack. One such YouTuber is Lolia, who has also been doing very tasteful coverage of ARGs I have seen myself before. Rest in peace, am I alone? Thanks Thanks to this, a nice and friendly cycle began. Larger YouTubers got content by covering smaller projects, and the creators of such small projects got a lot of exposure thanks to them. Well, for the most part. Enter Render. Render is a Minecraft YouTuber who was previously known for SMP videos. On the 6th of April 2024, he uploaded a video called The Story of Simon 12, Herobrine's secret brother. It's about an ARG called, well, Simon 12. In very short summary, Simon, some kid, gets tricked into building a structure in Minecraft while playing with his friend called Angelo. That structure then summoning an alternate version of Herobrine that messes with them. Simon still plays on the world anyway because he wants to beat the Ender Dragon. Determined little fella. He also covered Alex Speaks, with Render supposedly finding the ARG via an email from a fan of his. It's about a child who moves out and makes a Minecraft channel to cope with losing his real-life friends. A character called Find Nola manifests into his game and later disappears after Alex gains a friend. It's also implied that Nola is somehow a manifestation of his mind caused by some weird form of schizophrenia or something, though it's a bit vague. Anyway, why am I bringing this up? Why am I talking about him of all these creators? Well, both of the series that were mentioned were entirely made by Render, or a team of his at least. Let's start off with Simon 12, finding a Reddit post on a completely obscure account that was only made 2 days prior is a bit suspicious for one. He also mentions in the Alex Speaks video that he had received an email 2 months before recording that told him about the ARG, though the channel had only been created about a month after this email was supposedly sent. You can also notice in some of these videos, more particularly in the Alex Speaks one, that some of his videos have the upload date hidden or have their description expanded when the YouTube UI is shown. This is to obscure when the video was actually posted relative to the time of recording. His next video on another ARG he made called Omen Concrete, which is about some corrupted Steve looking thing and a Minecraft player being afraid of each other, also follows in these footsteps. It features a shot where the channel doesn't even have a profile picture and the first video was uploaded 3 days ago. But these are just observations I made while watching the videos on my own. They wouldn't be definitive proof of anything, if not for the fact that Render admitted about a week after the Alex Speaks video that he made all of the ARGs up on a community post. You may say, Angela, what's wrong with this? Aren't most ARGs fake anyway? Isn't this just the same thing but made by a paid team? Well, I pose you this question. Considering what we discussed earlier, wouldn't it be normal for this paid team to be credited in any manner? To me, it feels a bit weird for him to say that he hires writers and actors to create and record the stories while not giving them any credit, while also not acknowledging anywhere besides the community post that the channels are made specifically for his videos. Shouldn't the people who made them be given credit too? Oh, really interesting update! While I was making this video, this post used to exist. However, he seems to have just deleted the whole post out of nowhere. I was able to see it as late as March 23rd, 2026, though as of April 2nd or so, it seems to have completely vanished. Does this mean he's gonna continue doing this? God knows! I'm also a bit skeptical about Render being able to solve all this without any prior clues from his teams. Besides what he's analyzed, I've yet to see other videos mention anything beyond what Render found, but I could be wrong. After the Omen Concrete video, Render seemed to think better of what he was doing, and besides the Simon 12 sequel, he pivoted to covering other people's ARGs, some of which I've seen myself. As a disclaimer, while I have seen mine watch Legend Finder on my own, I haven't watched his videos on them, so I can't speak of their quality per se. While he may have stopped, this was unfortunately the beginning of the era we're in now. While some YouTubers, like Zmyth, took the whole self-coverage gimmick in a new direction and actually managed to write a good story more or less, a lot of other YouTubers seemingly picked up on this trend and started doing it themselves verbatim. Some of them started making them en masse, and others tried to use really weird and sensitive topics to imply they're real. ZachoBuilds, a YouTuber who does this for instance, had to clarify that a kidnapping from the ARG they made isn't real? In ARGs, you're typically not trying to get people concerned about a supposedly real person's well-being, and you should especially not be leading them to harass real-life organizations or people. So him implying that real police reports exist regarding the events of his ARG and showing off a real house address is heavily concerning and could get the property owners harassed. An acknowledgement of this video's fictitiousness was only added 3 days after its publication, and in that time frame people could have already seen the video and thought it was real. And people did! One of my friends talked about it to me as if it were a real missing children's case. You don't do this, man! This whole mess, however, leads us to a video you've probably heard of by this point. Part 3, Signalis 2, Electric Boogaloo. Searching for a world that doesn't exist is another essay video about a Minecraft ARG, this time being made by Weefies. You've probably seen this video either via your recommendations or from a YouTuber or Twitch streamer you look up to reacting to it. So, what's this video's deal? What's it about? To quote Weefies' description, this is a spooky ARG, but not really ARGs, this is unfiction, a tangential but not identical genre. It's basically a cool mystery story, which is definitely a word choice. In summary, Avery the Mayo, the fall protagonist, finds a laptop in a storage locker. They find Minecraft on it and enter their login details without much care. This would be the perfect time for a cybersecurity sponsor, but I'm broke. They play it on an already existing world, in which they find a structure in a book they didn't make that tells them to not turn left at the crossroads. There's a Google Drive link that briefly appears in their inventory as the video they're recording ends. The Drive link leads to 2 hours worth of footage by a second guy, their lord, seen in the same world as Avery. There's a looming threat that changes like 3 different times. First is a bunch of cheap whispering, then an invisible entity, and then censored black square. As soon as he finds the censored black square, he runs back and writes the book that Avery found. But Angela, what makes a censored black square so scary? Well, from people looking into the ARG who have read a lot of classic literature before, they noted how this seemed to be an adaptation of the story The King in Yellow by Robert W. Chambers. The book, in essence, is split up into multiple stories that talk about the King in Yellow, a godly being of sorts that doesn't explicitly appear in the book in any describable state. In the stories, there's a play written about him and named after him, and he has sorts of disciples that carry out his duties instead, with his motivations being completely unclear. Some people have argued that Weefies has completely misunderstood the point of the original book, and there's a really good video on the differences between Weefies' interpretation and the general consensus on the story, and I will be linking that below. Though, do be aware that the authors seem to be a bit aggressive in it, but besides the supposedly sloppy usage of the original story's themes, as you may have guessed by now, Avery the Mayo is a fake ARG created by Weefies. This may come as a shock for most, but some may have noticed that he explicitly states it in his video description. Still, this doesn't excuse him from the way he treats his own derived story and how he describes his creation process. For instance, he makes comments about the main protagonist, the character he made up, being smart the entire time and implying every other protagonist from this sort of genre is stupid.
He also pulls off this brilliant move which you rarely see from these protagonists by turning the difficulty to peaceful because he ran out of food. Avery is clearly smart. Smart enough to set a trap, and smart enough to set a backup. Behind that black square was enough to drive probably the smartest protagonist I've ever seen.
I don't know about you, but constantly saying that about a character that you either wrote or had someone write for you to an audience comes off as really egotistical. As for his production process, oh boy. About 2 months after the creation of Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist, an interview was conducted with Weefies by the YouTuber Skyboy, and to be completely honest and unfiltered for once, it is the most batshit insane stuff I've ever heard come out of a supposed creative. The story goes as follows. Weefies invited a YouTuber called Parrot2x, or just Parrot, to do escape room videos with him, which Weefies also was pursuing before he started doing Minecraft ARG content. Later on, Parrot wanted to fake an SMP video just to see if people would notice, with him bringing Weefies along for the ride. Weefies later was inspired by the scripted video and his own thoughts about what makes videos about ARGs entertaining. And that's how we ended up here. In the interview, though I could be wrong, the interviewer likely paraphrases Weefies and says that his videos had to be better than any other ARG that existed prior.
But this wouldn't be any old ARG. It needed to be better than anything that came before it.
And that most ARG protagonists are stupid and have no survival instincts?
There's a big trope where the protagonist is stupid and has no survival instincts, so Weefies slipped that on.
It also implies that all of the Minecraft ARGs Weefies has covered prior aren't stories and don't have characters in them.
Because unlike his previous unscripted ARGs, this one was a story with actual characters.
Which is a bit of a weird statement to make considering most people who do Minecraft ARGs don't make them without any story to uncover. Additionally, Weefies also describes puzzles and horror elements in ARGs wholly useless in such videos.
Because in my mind, if you take out the puzzles, would it still, is that what makes the video entertaining? My guess is I don't think so. And honestly, I feel like you can take out the horror as well, and then once you do, you're literally just left with a format where you can call upon supernatural entities. You have literally no bounds in your storytelling.
He conducted a poll on his YouTube channel midway through his pre-Searching for a World That Doesn't Exist catalog of videos, asking his viewers what they cared about the least in ARGs. The poll concluded, and it turned out that most people hated the horror aspect, with puzzles being in second place of most hated. While I do vaguely agree that most horror used in the medium of Minecraft is pulled off quite poorly and could be done better, the conclusion Weefies got to, which is that storytelling is the only important aspect of an ARG, is quite misguided. I also feel like the poll he set up is a bit rigged to begin with, considering most of his viewers are likely to be a slightly younger demographic due to the nature of Minecraft, but I digress. While yes, there are a lot of people on YouTube who watch this sort of stuff only for the story, a lot of people also wish to solve or further progress the plot of said stories, by directly interacting with them and banding together with other people. Take Alpha version again for instance. People had other codes to solve that would eventually lead to other videos being found. They had to dig out a code to open up one of the versions by attempting to run the jar file for said version outside of Minecraft. They had a server they could play on where the creators would mess with them in character. And you know what? People really enjoyed unlocking more of the story and playing along. The puzzles added to the community aspect of the ARG, which I feel is the most important part. It's better to band together to solve things like these instead of having them being spoon-fed to you. Unless you've missed out, of course. What puzzles did Avery the Mayo have outside of the stuff Weefies covered anyway? Well, There's this one code that their lord spent 17 real minutes staring at before continuing to progress the story, and some people decided to solve it on their own, and that's it. No, seriously, that's it. There's a documentary by Weefy's fans that intends to catalog everything they know about the ARG. It says that A, people already analyzed the raw footage and nothing else has been found, and B, Weefy's quite literally told them that they couldn't do anything. Isn't that a bit discouraging? Why do people have to wait for a part 2 in order to progress an ARG when they haven't even gotten to do anything prior? I hope it's clear now that these videos are getting to a point where the YouTubers are subconsciously telling you to watch their video instead of the original, because they already found everything, which really doesn't bode well if people actually trying to solve anything. Again, Retro Gaming Now didn't know everything about Alpha version when he first covered it, and that's fine. That's what makes these videos feel human to begin with. Also, again with the lack of credit, you can tell the set had the most effort put into it, at least in my opinion, and I'd like to compliment the person who made it. Now, where can I find this person? Oh, there's no credit for anyone else in any public manner? Okay. The only way I managed to find out who built it is by going to Weefy's Discord and looking through his Ask Weefy's channel, where he states that a guy named Horace built it with not much elaboration given otherwise. I assume it's this guy, who Parrot has collaborated with in a few of his scripted SMP videos, so I'd like to give my personal shoutouts to him for making really good builds. Also yes, I'm aware that part 2 exists. However, this section was originally written before it, and I'd rather not have Weefy take up most of the video's runtime, so I'll only mention it briefly. While he did make up for some things, such as crediting Horace properly, it plagiarizes multiple shows and other media, such as the ending for a 4chan green text and supposedly Genshin Impact. The obvious plagiarism of lines and shots from Gravity Falls and Adventure Time are credited in the description, but are insanely vague and only mentioned as, oh, these were just my inspirations, it's not even funny.
There is only darkness for you.
There is only darkness for you.
Now, fall.
Fall.
It's a real thanks to Boomstick Gaming sort of deal. Between the two parts, he also made an appearance at Minecraft Live alongside clips from series he covered.
Hello, my name is Weefies, and I solve mysteries on the internet.
He hid an ARG inside this that bridged the two parts, with some seemingly interesting codes to solve. I haven't looked at it much. It seems like his segment was cut out from the stream, though I did find it re-uploaded on YouTube. I haven't talked about Weefies' other videos in this section, as I have either seen a few of the series he covered or I simply wasn't interested in them. But all of the ones prior to the Avery the Mayo video were all ARGs he hadn't made. However, I would like to bring up his video on Snippets specifically, as the video's Umbral and Conflicted appeared in Minecraft Live. Snippets' co-creator happens to be someone I'm well acquainted with and have contact with. I wanted to bring the video up to them and see how they felt about it getting covered, and they agreed to do an interview about it, which you'll be hearing shortly. I'll also be adding on-screen subtitles for your convenience. Hello there, Miss Snippets creator. Feel free to introduce yourself, tell us what you did for the series.
Co-creator.
Or co-creator, yes.
I was largely behind all the writing and graphical design of stuff. It was a collaborative effort, as it were.
So, how do you feel about the Wifey's video?
Okay, this will require additional context from one of my other web series, Katka. I am deeply annoyed by Weefy's just being discovered in the video, in his own style, considering how surface level and uninterested it is. It's really clear he just sees this as a way to get money and not like actually cover a thing, you know?
I mean, if you could elaborate, like, what do you mean by that?
Well, the influx of comments just talking about, did Weefy's make that? Wow, I found this on Weefy's, whatever. It's really annoying. Talking back to Katka, there have been numerous comments going like, you want to be shown on Weefy's, don't you? When this is not the intent, I just want to make a web series. Regarding the actual coverage, I find it deeply insulting to my work as a writer point and as an artist, that Weefy's rarely digs beyond what is directly shown on the screen and doesn't try to, how do I put it, doesn't try to infer anything on his own. He just disguises things as they directly happen in the video, which I don't think is good. I don't think it's good.
If there's one thing that Snippets tried to convey that Wifey's didn't get, like, what would that be?
I mean, it's hard to say that because the series is inherently incomplete now, and the themes we try to show are like only partially there. It's hard to say what Weefies didn't take away from the series. because it's all the everything really.
Do you feel as if Weefies could, like, improve upon his content in any way if his more recent stuff is to be, like, considered?
The issue here isn't like the production quality of the videos or like anything easily changeable. I believe he would improve his content by actually caring about web series and not just being a content farm, because that's what he is. You can't exactly change the attitude of a person so easily. And that exact attitude is the reason I have a lot of issues with his coverages of all web series, really. That he didn't make, because the ones he did make, he covers extremely well and in detail, and it shows.
How do you feel about Snippets getting into Minecraft Live because of Weefies? As, like you weren't informed that it was going to be added to it, right?
I was not. I learned about it from like a completely different person telling me about it.
Ugh.
Who knew that I made the web series. I feel adding Weefies to Minecraft Live at all was a mistake. And if it were possible, I would wish that snippets were removed from that segment altogether.
The entire segment was removed, for the record. It's just gone from the stream.
Like from the final upload?
Yeah, no, they cut it out from the live stream. It's just gone.
Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool.
Anyway, yeah, thank you for being...
Anyway, how can this get worse? Surely writing an inconsistent story and not crediting the builders of your set is the worst that could possibly happen. Well... Part 4. RunSonic, run! Lomedy is a Minecraft YouTuber who has done things in a similar vein to the previously discussed individuals. Among the couple of ARG videos he's made, of course all done by a team for him, there's one called Disturbing Footage on a Minecraft Kids channel, which is about the ARG RunSonic, and I'm focusing on this one instead of the other 3 he's made before for good reason. This video, posted one day before my birthday, covers what seems to be a Minecraft channel whose videos actually seem like believable Minecraft Kids videos. They also use Sonic the Hedgehog characters. Midway through recording a video about a Minecraft clone of a Roblox game that uses AI-generated creatures, yeah, the Minecraft Kids channel part checks out, the person recording, named Jason, who's playing the role of Sonic, seems to notice nothing in the distance and freaks out for a second. The person playing Tails asks them what's going on and the video cuts, with them disappearing. The videos continue like this, with the crew trying to make content as more and more of them leave suddenly, at least from the main point of view, featuring strange cuts in the footage and other inexplicable moments, with Jason ending up alone at the end. Some hidden videos also show the actors discussing among themselves without Jason present. And you know what? This is actually really good. This series actually had some honest-to-god realistic character interactions that I really liked, and the actors were doing a fantastic job.
It's like strawberry jam, man.
But, since it was created by a Minecraft YouTuber, you can imagine something's up with it that I particularly dislike. You know how I mentioned that some of these videos are built in a way to discourage you from watching the originals? This channel takes it a step further and has no public videos you can find firsthand whatsoever. You can only really find them via fan-made playlists. So the only way you can experience it is not by finding it organically, but instead by having Lomedy constantly drone over how spooky and scary each video was.
Holy crap. We see him go fully crazy. Holy, literally no one, me skipping it.
And having him pull up ChatGPT or dial up Weefies whenever he's stuck. Yes, Weefies is here. And he gives us, frankly, some really dumb foreshadowing.
It's not like a Minecraft server where you can just, like, log on and use F3 to find a hidden chest, right?
Hidden chest? Wait, how do I do that?
Sure, the video links are at the top of Lomedy's browser and are featured throughout the video, but good luck deciphering the first video's link on your own. Trust me, I tried. Unlike the previous 2 people, Lomedy seems to actually have credited his actors at least. Well, partially. It's a disorganized array of ads in apparently his own community? No one is really credited for anything in particular and you have to do a lot of guesswork. For instance, this seems to be Amy's voice actor in the series. His community seems to be credited because about half a day before the video's release, in a Discord stage channel, he asked them all to fake the tweets about RunSonic that are seen in the video. There's even proof in the video if we pay close enough attention. While it's a step up from what the others were doing in this regard, it's still not a good approach. This video is also notable for one thing that I neglected to mention when talking about Alex Speaks, besides my passing mention of schizophrenia. That is the handling of mental illness in these sorts of videos, which I find absolutely disgusting. The whole thing driving the plot is that Jason has some sort of visions of a creature stalking him, which causes him to lash out at his actors. Simple stuff, I feel like it does its job well enough. Later in the video, however, it is also implied that the creature is omnipresent in some aspect. There's explosions in-game and things that are implied to be caused by them, which kind of ruins the thing it had going for it. Also, Jason later draws the creature and it's a ripoff of SCP-1471-A and it turns out that it gave him a gambling addiction.
doesn't use it for rent, he doesn't use it for food, he gambles with it. That's what he does.
Still, even with these weird narrative decisions, you can't help but feel bad for him. It's clear that Jason is struggling with this issue a lot and it's making a lot of his actors, even his friends, drift away from him. Mental illness seriously messes with people and damages their connections with others, with the world, hell, even with themselves. They're still people and should be treated with respect and be supported whenever possible. And Jason's actions that are driven by it really make you think about how people treat medical conditions similar to this. All of that, just for the ending to do a complete bait and switch and frame him as an insane murderer who killed the Eggman actor.
Then we see the videos that foreshadowed everything. The murder of the person who exposed him, the murder of the burner account, the murder of Eggman.
Congratulations! We have learned nothing. Don't think about the actual message the video was sending prior to this. You as a viewer must now understand that Jason is a murderer who is insane and killed one of his actors. Incredible. As someone who suffers from autism and ADHD, I find this depiction of mental illness very dehumanizing. And while having these disorders doesn't make me an expert on stuff like this, I still feel I should give my opinion. It speaks to the way of thinking that video creators like these have when it comes to dealing with other people's neurodivergence and various issues. They portray them like zoo animals that should be mocked in their metaphorical cage and subsequently be feared if encountered in the wild, instead of ever trying to sympathize with them or trying to teach an audience that they're people you can talk and reason with. There's an article an acquaintance of mine made where they discuss this video more in depth, with them further elaborating on a few points I brought up here and drawing contrast to their fictitious stories such as Petscop, so I highly suggest giving it a read. I'll be linking that below. So, what was the point of any of this? Part 5. What was any of that for? What was the point of examining any of these projects for like 20 minutes? Well, I care about these sorts of things, man. As an artist myself and as someone who's dabbled into ARG creation before and have contacts in such circles, it annoys me that YouTubers only see this format as merely just a make money quick scheme and not as an opportunity to create an interesting puzzle for their own community, yet alone showcase any other non-YouTube related skills they might have gathered over the years. For instance, I learned how to replicate an entire art style and how to do a certain genre of music for an ARG I'm making. All the thinking nowadays, scripted or not, is done by the YouTubers who do this sort of thing rather than the viewer. Most viewers, in the YouTuber's eyes, simply ignore or do not care about the original channel existing and never bother touching it. Then why bother giving it any additional mystery? Why even bother making it an actual ARG for people to solve if you can do it yourself? It also annoys me how the actual people behind the writing, the visuals, the sound, or the set design are never credited in any manner, which in turn gives me no one who I can really credit and check out for doing actual good work besides the essay video creators. Of course, not being credited could be a contractual thing, but it's still rather unfair. There's this trend I've noticed in Minecraft content: create, steal, consume, rot. Remember those civilization videos? One of the earliest instances of them I could find is this. I've never watched any of them myself, but after their creation you can notice a lot of clones popping up riffing on the same general idea, but with the littlest thing changed so that they can be unique, like focusing on a different Minecraft mechanic or trend, like parkour, minigames, mobs, chunks? And even these have their own copycats. This is not only an issue with Minecraft YouTube specifically, but with YouTube in general. To quote famous trained helicopter pilot Harris Balmer guy,
"On YouTube, if you have an original idea, if it's good, it won't be yours for long."
And that's true. Ever since Render started faking ARGs, everyone's been riffing off of his strategy, including Wi-Fi's. And yet again, more and more riff-offs stemming from Wi-Fi's video keep appearing in one way or another, riffing off of his thumbnail, his title, and being rip-offs of pre-existing stories themselves. Again, create, steal, consume, rot. Create, steal, consume, rot. Over and over, no signs of stopping. These people will never be satisfied. In their eyes, everything you make has to be better than everything else that already exists. It has to be the same format, the same thing that lures the viewer in, the same narration style. Everything has to be a ripoff of what already exists because that's just what works. I'm sick. I'm sick and tired of people who only want to see big numbers and not care about the viewer's part in the series, yet alone anything else. Keep turning left at the crossroads, because you'll surely get lost. Boo. That was a bit dramatic, wasn't it? Anyway, I hope my point with this video was understood and you didn't stop watching halfway. Some of you may be thinking, well, if I was a fan of these people and don't support this behavior, who could I watch instead? Well, I do have some recommendations. Retro Gaming Now was brought up as an example of ethical ARG coverage, and is in a way, their genre's grandfather. He still makes videos today and has some that aren't even Minecraft related. His Your Click is Meaningful video is a personal non-Minecraft favorite of mine, and some of the Minecraft ARG he's been covering in recent are pretty high quality. Check him out, he's the GOAT. Seemeth was also brought up briefly in part 2. While he does make up all the ARGs he covers and falls in a bit of a weird grey area in what I discussed prior, his Pandora.rar video really grabbed my attention through its style of narration, which I found very unique and human. I also like how he admits at the end that he made it all on his own in such a cool way. and spoilers here, but implying that he's a character in the story himself, made the channel he covered to remember what happened during the series' events, and that the essay video was made to reminisce on the events of this story is genuinely really cool storytelling. Hell, he does most of the work himself and credits the people that helped him properly. If you'd like essay videos on ARGs to be scripted stories, even with all I've discussed, I highly recommend checking them out. Lastly, the Minecraft web series container. This is run by an acquaintance of mine, and while not necessarily a Minecraft ARG coverage channel, does catalog a lot of them if you're interested in finding and watching some of them on your own. Hell, there's a lot of smaller ones listed here. You could definitely find some diamonds in the rough. I'm probably not going to be doing any sort of follow-up to this video. My real intention is to bring awareness to this phenomenon happening. If you have any opposing ideas or anything, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Don't subscribe or something. I'm not sure how the YouTube game exactly goes, but yeah, see you later.
Every other day I'm too bony. What's it mean to be green skeleton? What's a way to earn green calcium? These green instincts make me mean.